I may or may not have gotten this shirt when I was in middle school. So, a little over 2 years ago, I had microblading done on my eyebrows, and I've never had a touch-up. So today I have an appointment to get them redone for the first time. By the way, if you don't know what microblading is, it's a form of tattooing where they hand draw tiny hair strokes to look as realistic as possible to fill in your eyebrows. They can also do shading. Some people sometimes want like the more solid makeup look. I originally had a combination because I wanted them to look like just natural eyebrows, but also like dark and filled in enough because I'm never gonna fill them in with makeup. So I had like a combination of hair strokes and then just a little bit of shading in between them. So I had this done in December 2019. And hopefully after today, they'll just be a little bit darker and fuller again like when I first had them done. The reason I had microblading is because I used to have like pretty normal eyebrows when I was a kid, and then in the early 2000s when I was in high school, I plucked the absolute shit out of my eyebrows.
Which was the style at the time, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah.
So a few years ago, I was kind of sick of not having any eyebrows. And I found out about microblading, found out that it existed, started looking into it, and then eventually I got it done. So I'm gonna put in a before and after picture. This is my original before and after photo from when I had these done in December 2019. So the top photo is my natural brows with just nothing after an entire year of not plucking at all, trying to grow them in, and that was all I could grow in. And then the bottom is right after microblading. Okay, get ready for the brow reveal, but remember they're gonna look pretty intense because I just had them done and they lighten as they heal. Ta-da! So this is what they look like right after having them done. They have ointment on them too, so that's why they look kind of shiny. So yeah, this is what they look like. The day I got them done, they're going to lighten, they're going to scab over a little bit, heal. So whenever you get this done, it's 2 appointments. So this was the first appointment, you get them done like this, and then they heal for a few weeks. Then you go back in 3 weeks or so for just like a final retouch, and then they heal a little bit again, and then that is your final result. So this is just my preliminary first day result. So I can already see, if you can notice, this one is a little bit thinner right along here than the other one. So when I go back for my touch-up, that's what I'm gonna make sure I get done, is that these strokes get brought up a little more so that they're as thick as this one over here. And she did follow the lines that were there already from my previous microblading, but this one did fade more over time, and I had already noticed that this one was thinner and that the strokes just kind of like disappeared a little bit. So if she followed what was exactly there, then this one would be a little bit thinner because it had already faded. So I'll be honest, that is driving me nuts a little bit, that this one is a little too thin, but that's what the second appointment is for, and I'll make sure that it gets fixed then. So it's really not that big of an issue. I just gotta try to ignore it. So what is aftercare for these like? You might be wondering. It's kind of like any tattoo. The first week or so, you put a thin layer of the ointment they give you over them a few times a day. Don't get water on them. Don't use any products on them. So like when you wash your face and moisturize, or if you're gonna put makeup on, whatever, just avoid the whole area around the eyebrows. Don't like lay on your face while you're sleeping, or try not to. Don't expose them to too much sun. And you can't touch them, which is the hardest part, because once these start to scab over, they're gonna get really itchy. And they're just gonna itch constantly, and there's not really anything you can do about it. I remember the first time when I had this done in 2019, I texted the person who had done them a few days, and I was like, oh my god, these are so itchy, I'm dying. And she was like, okay, you can lightly tap them. So once they start to get really itchy, you can just lightly try to pat them to relieve the itch, but you can't rub, you can't scratch, you can't do anything besides just tap your eyebrows and wait for the itching to stop. So now I get to take a shower and wash my hair while trying not to get my eyebrows wet. Okay, successfully showered without destroying my eyebrows. Hair is styled and air drying. I do feel like both of them just need to be a little bit thicker too in general, but we'll see how the healing goes, and then I'll figure out whatever changes I want to make at my touch-up appointment. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, I did check ahead of time that this pigment is vegan and cruelty-free. I just asked the brow artist what brand pigment she uses. She told me, and I looked it up. One last thing I want to mention too is pricing, because I hate when people won't talk about what things cost. So the first time I got this done a couple years ago, it was $500 total. And like I said before, it's always 2 appointments when you get this done. So it was $500 for both appointments. And a lot of people charge like that. They'll charge you a portion for the first appointment and then the rest of it at the next appointment. So yeah, $500 when I got this done the first time was pretty standard. To me, that's a lot too. And it was a lot when I paid it the first time, but it was something that I really, really wanted. Some of the pricing now has gotten so insane. When I was looking into artists here that I wanted to like look into and have a consultation with, there are people here who are charging like $700, $1,000 for microblading. The lady I went to charges $350, and it was $300 for this first appointment, and it'll be $50 when I go back for the follow-up. It's one of those things where you really don't want to cheap out, and you don't want to go to like a salon that also offers microblading and then walk out looking like somebody drew on your face with a Sharpie or something. But also, just because someone is charging $700 to $1,000 or more does not necessarily mean that they're going to do a better job. It just means people can charge whatever they want to charge for stuff like this. And especially now that it's kind of becoming more popular, more people are getting it. People are getting like trained and certified to do this, and then just charging whatever the fuck they want. So it's one of those things where you really don't want to cheap out on it, but also just because you spend $1,000 does not mean it's going to be better. What you really want to do is find someone who's not, like I said, you don't want to go to a salon that just kind of also offers microblading on the side. Find somebody, I mean, from my experience, this would be my advice, find somebody who doing brows and stuff like that is their main focus, and then look at their work, because that's what's going to matter. If you like how their work looks, and that's what you want, then go to that person. Because I'm telling you, I looked at these portfolios of people who were charging $1,000, and their work did not look better than the person I went to for $350. So this is just one of those things. And I guess it's kind of like when you get a regular tattoo also, like you really just do your research and spend a lot of time looking at the person's work and making sure that that's what you want on your face. So yeah, that was my microblading appointment. This is my day 1 result, and maybe I'll do an update when I go back for my second appointment and show my final results then.